Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 challenge run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're trying a challenge that I'm genuinely not sure if it's even close to possible. This is one that people have brought up a few times and that I have been interested in giving a shot to, so we're going to try it tonight and see if we can do it. We're going to play Chef with Wand, and the reason that this is so difficult, of course, is that Chef has minus 75% elemental damage modifiers, so if you're only using Wand, then it's going to be very, very difficult to get additional damage. And of course, Wand is also just a weapon that doesn't stack well in multiples and is fairly weak overall, so that's going to be an additional challenge on top of the fact that we are operating at a huge damage penalty with an elemental weapon, which really needs the high base damage. So we're going to give this a few tries and see if we can put together a winning strategy. I do think that part of what's going to make this work, if it works, is if we get a lot of constructs, because then we'll be able to use the Chef's elemental damage multiplier to make those constructs stronger. But let's see what we've got here. So I'm going to roll a couple times looking for harvesting. I think we can roll one more time. We'll take 5 harvesting. We're going to really struggle to kill stuff in the early game, so important to get some early harvesting to make sure that we have income. I'm going to take the tree and the propeller hat and we'll roll by a wand. One nice thing about Wand is it's very cheap, so we were able to get at least a few rerolls, although rolling 3 times there and not seeing another Wand is pretty unfortunate. Doing this on Abyssal Terrors is also pretty tough because we've got the Mantis Shrimp, which have damage reduction, so the initial damage from our Wands is never going to do anything to them. Try to make sure that the tree is on fire there. I don't think we're going to be able to get the other tree killed, but the fact that we killed that tree is very important because it let us pick up the consumable, and when the Chef picks up a consumable, it explodes, which will then set enemies on fire. In the very early waves, 2 damage 5 times over, even though that's a very small amount of damage, is still enough to kill most enemies, so we got probably like 10 more materials because of that. The extra scared sausage is great. So the way that this works is it's just going to increase the burning damage of our weapons that apply burning by 1 flat damage. So you can see we do 5 damage now. That's awesome because our elemental damage modifier is reduced. So scared sausage is one of the most efficient ways to increase the burning damage that we're applying. Kind of interesting here, so I guess I will take the level 2 wand. Obviously, you'd prefer to find level 1 weapons most of the time, but honestly, 2 level 2 weapons is pretty good. So the reason that wand is a weapon that kind of struggles, there's several reasons. One is that burning damage doesn't stack, so all of our wands are shooting the same target, but only the burning damage from one of them is ever being applied in a reasonable way. So we're wasting a lot of our attacks. Secondly, it just does low initial damage and doesn't have super strong burning damage either. So it takes it just a long time to kill stuff. It also attacks pretty slowly, so it doesn't do a good job of defending us either. Okay, landmines is great. So the way that the Chef works, non-elemental damage sources, like these landmines, will do triple damage against burning targets. So even though it's going to be hard to build up enough burning damage to actually kill enemies, with the landmines, we might be able to get something going. I'm also not going to take the piggy bank there. This character is weak enough that we definitely cannot afford to not get stronger for several waves in order to build up piggy bank income. So we're going to skip out on that. Even though this is a relatively early piggy bank and on a stronger character combination, we might have taken it there. Okay, so I did see a consumable over here. I'm going to try to keep the tree burning so we can maybe get a tree kill. Actually, I should have pulled the enemies over to the consumable a little bit faster so we could get that explosion earlier. Go ahead and recycle the goat skull here. We've already got 21 harvesting, but these stats are pretty bad. That said, I think I'm just going to take an armor because I really don't want to spend too much on re-rolling. Take a propeller hat and I'll roll here. Gentle Alien, still probably worth taking for this character. And then, okay, we were finally able to fill out our weapon set. So now, when we have a landmine, enemies who are on fire are going to take triple damage from the landmine, which will still only be 30. It's not that exciting, but that is a way that we can potentially deal with higher health enemies. So there I was able to set everything on fire. Let's, I thought that those mantis shrimp were going to get clipped by the landmine when I set that off manually, but that did not happen. Pocket Factory is probably the best item that we could find, because that would allow us not only to set enemies on fire across the map with our double scared sausages, it would also deal additional damage to every burning enemy, so the Pocket Factory would help us clear. I'll take the alien tongue here. My max HP is terrible and our defensive stats are really bad, so I think I'm just taking 6 max HP, and then I'll take 3 lifesteal, because currently we have no healing and I really want to improve that. I'm going to take the wand and the gentle alien and lock the jerky. Of course we are going to want jerky, but I do want to upgrade my wands at least to level 2. Then we'll probably try to get one of them to level 4, where we'll maximize our burning damage. I think the key to this run is going to be to find an early Pocket Factory and just other early... I knew that was going to explode there and hit me, so unfortunate, but let's restart. I should have backed up, obviously, from that. I knew it was about to explode, and there was no reason to take that hit. Okay, 47 off the first wave seems okay. Let's reroll once here, and again, looking for harvesting. Missed twice, so I could take a quarter of an elemental damage. I think I'm just going to take attack speed. We'll want that anyways. Plant has got to be worth locking here. Let's do some rerolls. All right, we'll buy a wand. We'll roll again. We'll buy another wand, and we'll roll. Okay, we were at least able to lock another wand this time. Last time we rerolled so many times and didn't see a fourth wand, and that was part of the struggle that we had, was that we did not get early upgrades on our weapons. Not having the scared sausage, though, I think is going to be a pretty big challenge. So I'm going to try to pull these enemies over towards the consumable there, and then we can pick it up, and we got... Yeah, so you can see how last time I got so much more, so many more materials on wave 2. That's because we got the consumable just slightly earlier. I guess I'll take the dynamite. So the explosion damage for dynamite... I actually don't know if it affects the chef explosions. I don't believe it does, because this is just burning damage. And we don't have a landmine, so I think we'll recycle that. Let's roll here, and we'll take 5 harvesting. Lock a jerky, of course that's going to be good. And then we'll buy a wand, and roll, buy a wand. I'm 1 short of being able to re-roll again, but at least we got 5 weapons. One other kind of underrated issue that we're having for this character combination is that normally elemental weapons assume that you have +5 base elemental damage, because you get that from the elemental tag. But because this character has reduced elemental modifiers, not only can we not build up our elemental damage later in the run, we also just don't start with that extra elemental damage, and the balance of items like wand just assumes that you have that. They're balanced around it. I think I'd just have to take 2 harvesting there. We'll take the wand and the plant, and then reroll. Okay, weird food is good healing. Do I want the weird food and the propeller hat, or do I need to roll for turrets? Because turrets are probably the most impactful thing that we could find. I think I'm going to keep the jerky, but I'm actually going to reroll past the rest of them and try to find something like a turret, or even just a wand upgrade would also be nice. But if I could find a laser turret early, even just some level 1 turrets, a Pocket Factory, any of those would be really powerful options for us. Also, Sharp Bullet would be really good, of course, on this character. Wands benefit tremendously from piercing shots, because it'll let you light multiple enemies on fire. So it really reduces the issues that you run into with this weapon, where you're stacking a bunch of attacks that don't do anything all on the same enemy. I'll take 10 luck here. Having higher luck could potentially get us a pocket factory or something like that much earlier. And then we'll buy the coupon, we'll keep the jerky locked, and I'll roll again. Well, we are not doing well, but I will take Alien Eyes. That is a good way to do non-weapon damage. And then I think I just have to save my money so we can buy the Alien Eyes. Alien Eyes are non-elemental damage, so they will do triple damage to burning enemies with this character. And I think that the way that you have to win with Chef Wand is find stuff like Alien Eyes, Baby Elephant, Pocket Factory, and so on very early. So it's possible I should be hard rolling for those types of items even more. Go over here and we'll try to burn everything at least a little bit. Do a little bit of damage to all of them. If I get another consumable, yeah, I can pull all these enemies on top of it, and then maybe there's enough time for a few more of them to die. Yeah, that actually worked pretty well. We'll take the plant here, and then 2 elemental damage is only half an elemental damage for this character. Now, we do have +5 already, so we would get to, which is multiplied down to 1.25, so we would go up to 1.75 and still not increase our burning damage. So I just don't think it's worth investing in elemental damage here. I think I'm just going to take the max HP, because otherwise we're going to die. We'll take the Alien Eyes, we'll do a reroll, we'll buy a wand, we'll do one more reroll, and Corrupted Shard, I do need more % damage, so I'll buy that as well. So the Alien Eyes right now are not going to be super effective, because the likelihood of them hitting something that's currently on fire is somewhat low, and our max HP obviously is not great. But I think that they are the way that we have to try to build this character. Okay, set everything on fire there, which is nice. I don't know if this is harder on Abyssal Terrors or Crash Zone. Probably Abyssal Terrors, most things are. But Crash Zone also has some difficulties, because if you don't have the damage to kill the ribcage enemies, then they're just going to run you down. I will take 3 elemental damage, because that will get us rounded up to 2. We'll take a Lumberjack shirt and a Jerky. That's a lot of healing. Corrupted Shard, sure. And Alien Worm, I should probably buy as well. We've got +3 consumable heal, so I think that's fine. Unfortunately, Pearl, we will just never be able to afford, and even with 45 luck, it's pretty inefficient to buy. I just don't think I can buy items that are really pricey like Pearl. Have to be pretty picky with what we're gonna buy here. Lumberjack shirt is nice because if we do end up finding a Pocket Factory, then it'll combine very well with that. This wave is going to be awful for us since it's a healer wave, and the healer enemies are just going to heal everything else up, and so we're not going to get any kills. We do at least have good regeneration, which is very important, but we're making almost no money this wave, and so that's kind of a disaster. I guess I'll take the book, because again, we're hoping for a structure to show up, and we'll take 8% damage here. Ice Cube has got to be worth picking up. It does increase our damage output. We'll take another wand, and we'll roll here. I'm going to roll again. I really just need to find a way to kill enemies, because we're about to get to the horde, and if our damage is this low, we can't survive. So the alien eyes are just not doing enough. I think maybe I was supposed to pass on those as well. Took 10 damage there. Part of the problem is we have not been able to afford any armor, so when we take a hit, it always chunks us. If I had found a snake, then we could be lighting up a few more of these enemies, which could give us better, better clear speed overall. Here, let's take 10 more luck. Okay, sharp bullet, that helps a lot. Do I want that over the incendiary turret? So the way that incendiary turret works with the chef is it does count as burning, so non-elemental sources of damage will be tripled. But the damage from the incendiary turret itself is not tripled, even though this isn't elemental damage. They've decided that it doesn't triple its own damage. That being said, I think we need to buy the incendiary turret because it is a way to kill enemies, which we currently are missing completely. So the incendiary turret, I think, is going to be our main plan at this point, because it just does enough AoE damage that we can maybe actually get some income. You can see here that the damage from the incendiary turret is not itself tripled, even against burning enemies, even though it's not elemental damage. It did spawn in a very awkward location for us, unfortunately, but if I can pull enough enemies through the incendiary turret, then we can get good value there. I wanted to... I took those hits on purpose because I wanted to run through the middle of those enemies to grab that consumable, set a bunch of things on fire, and hopefully make at least some money out of that. And then we're going to take another pass here through the incendiary turret. The one good thing that we have going for us in this run is that we've got a lot of regeneration for this level, given our extremely poor income. So the incendiary turret helped. Okay, we got a pocket factory. Might be doable now. I'm going to take 4 engineering to boost our pocket factory, because this and the incendiary turret are now just our main plan. I'll take the baby squid. We're going to need more healing, and we'll take sharp bullet and ice cube. That does leave me 1 short of being able to reroll there, and we still have no armor, which is obviously a real problem. But I do now have a turret on the field, and the turret, that will do triple damage every time it attacks a burning enemy. We also have a scared sausage. Ah, man. Okay, well, that was closer. We were on the right track. Give this another go. Like I said, this may take several tries because I genuinely don't know if it's possible at all. I think, having played it a little bit, it is possible, but it's gonna rely on finding such an early... Oh, what the... no, my attack went through the tree there. I've never seen that before. We were standing on it, and it didn't attack it. I think it's gonna rely somewhat on luck and finding an early scared sausage. That's really unfortunate, because we wasted 4 attacks against the tree, and that cost me a lot of money. And what I was hoping is we would kill it, get the consumable to pop, and then clear a bunch of those enemies, because they all have 1 health. Oh, this is a disaster. The Gobbler is going to eat all our money. And there's no chance we kill it. Okay. Well, this run is kind of cursed. We'll take a wand, we'll reroll and reroll again, lock a level 2 wand. Okay, snake does help. That can potentially help us kill more enemies, and AoE damage is what we're missing. So we need things like that sharp bullet that we managed to find right before I died last run, and scared sausages and snakes. Okay, so here I can light everything on fire, and we do a little bit of damage to all of those enemies. And then we'll tank a bunch of damage here, because I have to in order to set this tree off. Alright, I just stood in too many enemies there. But you know what? That was a cursed run anyways. I thought I could take 1 more hit and be able to kill the tree, and then the tree would heal me up, but I just calculated wrong. So there is a tree up there, but there's no chance that I'm able to kill it in time, so we're going to pass on it. We'll take a fertilizer. This is a way that we can potentially make money, so let's go ahead and lock the fertilizer. We'll lock the wand, or buy the fertilizer, lock the wand here. Having fewer wands actually doesn't matter that much, because it's not like the damage from multiple wands stacks up anyways. You're just relying on the burning damage regardless. The only nice thing that it does give you is more base elemental damage, but for the shaft, that's not the case. So, okay, there we go. So I was able to make 43 materials there. We got a sharp bullet. That's excellent. Let's do one reroll. We'll take more harvesting. And then here, one more reroll. And I'll take some regen. I think getting the early regeneration that we got last time was critical. Or 2 times ago, I guess, before I threw that previous run. So I'm going to focus on building a lot of regeneration early. Early sharp bullet matters a lot. If we can find now some trees in a pocket factory, maybe a lumberjack shirt, then we would be in great shape. But as is, you can see how much more money we're making on these early waves because I'm able to hit multiple enemies. So sharp bullet just matters tremendously for this run. The roll here, I could take 3 engineering in preparation for maybe going for pocket factory, but we don't have anything yet. I think I'm just going to reroll one more time. Unfortunately, we missed again, but I'll take 5% damage to make my damage back to par, at least. Take a wand. Lemonade is good healing, and then we'll go to the next wave here. Have to pick up at least some materials, because... Oh, no, because there might be a gobbler. But also, of course, because we doubled a bunch of materials last wave. So we're going to lose a lot of money this wave just because I do not think it's possible for us to ever kill a gobbler here. And so it ate a lot of my money. I had to run from the lamprey. I was trying to focus on the gobbler a little bit, but unfortunately we weren't able to do anything about it. Gentle Alien, still worth taking. We'll take 8 harvesting here, and then let me reroll here. And I could take 8 more harvesting. Maybe we're just relying on harvesting for all of our income. So let's do that. We'll take the baby gecko in case we get gobblered again. And then I'll do a reroll here. I think I'm actually going to pass on Corrupted Shard. Although it's a very good item and gives us % damage, which will improve our burning damage and everything. Corrupted Shard is pretty dangerous because we just can never kill cursed enemies. I'm also pretty unhappy that... Well, it depends on what elites we get. Some horde waves are... Or horde waves are always going to be tough because our AoE damage is really bad. Some elites are going to be sort of impossible for this build, but some won't be so bad. So we're hoping that we get a friendly elite roll. The early sharp bullet is just so incredibly powerful for this build. We're making a lot more money than we were in previous runs. Here I'm gonna reroll, and I'll take an armor. We definitely are gonna need that. Okay, so I'm gonna focus on this version of the build, on just getting harvesting, because we got 54 harvesting already, so that's enough income that even if our actual killing power is weak, the harvesting will make up for a lot of that. Also, the incendiary turret, that's going to help us clear a lot more enemies, which is really nice, especially if we found a snake, then the incendiary turret would benefit from that a lot as well. The burning damage from the incendiary turret and from our wands does not stack, but it can just put a lot of damage out on the field while we're chipping away at everything, because we just need to kind of do chip damage to everything on the map. I would love to pick up some of these materials, but I need to do so without dying. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so safely, so we left 40 on the ground. That's okay. I'll take 2 lifesteal here. We'll take 10 luck. And then we'll buy the incendiary turret. We'll buy the metal plate. We'll do a reroll, another incendiary turret, and an eye surgery. Those are both really solid items for us. And I don't think I'm going to reroll for 8. That's pretty expensive. So we're just going to let the incendiary turret kind of do its own thing on the other side of the map. And hope that that is good enough. No. We keep getting gobblered. This is the type of build I mentioned when the Gobbler was introduced, that there are some builds that simply can't deal with a Gobbler and are going to be crushed by it. And this is the type of build that that's going to happen to. We don't have the single target damage to ever kill it. We've left a lot of materials on the ground in previous waves, so it's eating all of our doubled up materials. And these early waves are critical for us because we just have to make money. So the Gobbler is really putting the hurt on us here. I'm gonna reroll here, and I'll reroll one more time. Okay, 9 speed. I definitely need some movement speed, so that's very important. We'll take another incendiary turret, and I'll take a jerky, and then we'll go to the next wave here. Really bad spawns for our incendiary turrets, by the way. They spawned on the sides of the map. And last map, it spawned in an awkward place as well. Honestly, if I hadn't gotten a Gobbler last wave, I feel like we would be in much better shape. We would have about 60 more materials, so we would have been able to buy at least one other item, maybe that duct tape, for more engineering, which is pretty nice. So that was a very unlucky spawn for us. I'm gonna get chased down by these anglerfish. Really hard to avoid taking hits from them. I'm trying to pick up at least some materials again before the end of the wave. Oh, we were 1 second off. Oh, no. That's really painful, because I genuinely think if that Gobbler hadn't spawned the previous wave, I wouldn't have died that wave, and we'd actually have been in pretty good shape. We'd have at least had a real chance that run. Let's reroll here, and I gotta reroll again. I'll take, guess, the attack speed or the lifesteal. We'll take the attack speed. Okay, lumberjack shirt's a nice one. We'll take a wand. Cute monkey. We just don't kill enough enemies for cute monkey to be worth buying. I don't think I can lock a penguin either. Let's do some rerolls again. Reroll again, we'll buy a wand, and I'll lock a book, because I think engineering is, of course, the way that we have to go. So, spending 9 on a book is probably worth it for this build. Because I think if we don't roll a few engineering items relatively early, this run simply isn't possible, so we kind of have to build as though that's going to happen. We have to play to our outs, as you would say in poker. Let's go ahead and roll here and roll again. We'll lock a wand and we'll buy a book. I don't want to buy the book there before rolling because I want to make sure that we are able to lock another wand at least. No, no, stop it. We're being bullied. Get away from my money. Okay, so I have to, like, chase down the materials, because I can't kill the Gobbler, so I have to chase down the materials before it eats them all. This is such a disaster. Alright. We'll buy harvesting here. Are the landmines even good? I mean, landmines are just such a weak item, but I think I do still have to buy them. I'll lock them for one more wave. They just don't do enough damage overall when you get them later like this. If I can loop enemies onto the landmines, we might be in okay shape. So like there, if you move in a spiral, you can stack enemies on top of your explosives, as we're doing with the chef explosions here. And with landmines, you can do that for a little more damage, of course. Alright, that wave wasn't terrible. We at least killed a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to take 2 regeneration here, and then we'll buy a wand and a landmines and roll. Roll again, and we'll lock a wand. Garden is nice for triggering the chef explosion, but it's very expensive, and I just don't think we can afford it, so I think we're actually just saving our money, and we'll hope for better items next wave. So I'm going to try to stack a few enemies. Oh, that one just, like, went straight for my landmine. I guess I should have killed the buffing alien first, because it was heading for the landmine. The enemies have really been uncooperative in these runs. We've gotten gobblers every wave. Alright, so let's pull the enemies over the landmine there. Unfortunately, we're at the point where landmine simply doesn't do enough damage to actually kill that much, so we didn't make much money out of doing that. But I guess we got 100. Let's take 8 harvesting here. We'll combine, we'll buy a wand, we'll buy a helmet and reroll. Bag is, I guess, a way I can make money if we get enough crate drops. So hopefully we get a bunch of tree spawns and then those drop crates. Was hoping to pull all of those enemies over the landmine, but without increased explosion sizes or anything, it can be very difficult to get enough enemies to hit a mine. So I think I'm going to die on this wave, yeah. We just didn't have the clear speed this wave. Alright, let's give it one more go. I need to also make sure in the early stages that I'm not accidentally shooting the same enemy twice, because that's costing me money every time I do it. Oh, I thought there would be time for the burning damage to tick there on the tree. Unfortunately, there was not. Okay, snake is good. That's sort of like finding a sharp bullet, which is, I think, another very important find early. So getting a snake could help a lot. Set the tree on fire, and then we have to loop back around and set it on fire again. Then we loop over here, use the explosion. I don't think we have the time to kill that tree. Oh, nice, we did. Okay, so we got 2 tree kills at least, made some money. We'll take 5 harvesting. We'll do a reroll here, and I'm just going to take 5 luck. And then I've got to buy more wands, if we can ever find them. Unfortunate there. I don't think I can afford to reroll for 6, so we're just going to go with 4 wands. This does seem like one of the types of runs where so much has to go right in terms of what you find in the shops that while it's not unwinnable, it's just a matter of rerolling over and over again until you get a sharp bullet, and then get an early pocket factory, or a couple early turrets. And those runs tend not to be that exciting. Let's see. So if I buy the wand, can I buy the snake? We would end up with 30-46, so we're short. I think the snake is actually going to be more damage and better clear speed for us, so I'm going to go ahead and buy the snake. Yeah, pretty justified in that decision. The snake is helping to spread the fire a lot, so we're getting a lot more clear speed out of it than if we had an extra wand. Have to pick up some materials here, ideally without dying. Got that chef explosion. Unfortunately, it was a little late, so enemies didn't have time to die there, but we made okay money wave 4. Let's go ahead and take a wand. We'll take a peaceful bee, and we'll reroll. Baby gecko, I don't know how much baby gecko matters. We are leaving a lot of materials on the ground, but spending 29 on it, I feel like, is kind of bad. So I'm going to lock the cake because we need max HP. I'll buy the mushroom, and I'm just going to reroll past the baby gecko and then roll again. We'll lock a wand. Gentle alien, when you're killing so few enemies here, it's worth picking up when you get it in a convenient way, but I think we just have to roll for Pocket Factory, basically. Trying to pick up at least all the doubled materials. Obviously, we could have had the baby gecko, but I'm pretty happy not having spent a bunch of money on something that doesn't give us any combat stats at this point. Try to set at least a few of those enemies on fire there, and then we'll hope that we can get that tree kill as well, which I did. Not making much money, but we did end up getting a crate here. Ugly Tooth is worth taking, and I'll take 6 max HP. We'll buy a wand, we'll buy a cake, and then I'm going to reroll. I'll lock a wand here, and I'll do one more reroll because, again, we are hoping to find Pocket Factory, turrets, anything along those lines. Baby elephant, that kind of thing. I guess one reason to consider buying the baby gecko is that baby elephant is such a high-tier purchase for us. So it does synergize with an item that we're looking to buy, but that's not an item that we have yet. So buying items just to synergize with it does not seem like a powerful strategy to me. We have to be very picky with what we're buying here. If I could get a sharp bullet to pair with this snake, then I think we would actually be in quite good shape in terms of being able to actually kill some enemies. I'll just take 2 more regen because I don't want to spend a bunch of time re-rolling. We'll go ahead and combine. I will buy an alien worm. I need more healing. I'll roll here and roll again. Okay, Cyber Ball, that is exactly the type of item that we want. I will lock a mushroom as well because I still need more healing. But Cyber Ball is non-elemental damage, so it is tripled against burning enemies. Which is going to be a lot of enemies on the field, hopefully. And so the Cyber Ball can potentially get us actual kills. If we'd gotten it a little earlier, it would have been significantly better, of course, because even 30 damage, because it's going to do 10 damage a tick, and then hopefully be tripled most of the time. But even 30 damage is not enough to clear a lot of enemies at this stage of the game. So if we'd gotten it a little earlier, we could have made a lot more money off of it. Wave 7 is always going to be a disaster for us, of course, because it's a healer wave, so we're not expecting much from this wave. Going to try to make at least some money here. Let's go ahead and I'll just take 5 luck because we're about to buy a Cyber Ball, which we will. Buy a mushroom, we'll reroll. Okay, a tree is a nice find as well, but let's buy the fertilizer, we'll lock the tree, we'll lock Propeller Hat to go with our Cyber Ball. So as enemies die, the Cyber Ball should be ticking for some damage here. Although I'm not seeing it be tripled. I'm not seeing any 30 damage ticks pop up, so I am wondering if Cyber Ball is not working, not counting as non-elemental damage for the chef. If there's a bug there. Oh, okay, I need to not die to the anglerfish. Trying to set at least some things on fire here. Alright, so we are leaving a lot of materials on the ground. I'm still pretty happy that I passed the baby gecko, though. I'm just going to take 3 max HP to make it a little less likely that we die outright. We'll take Propeller Hat and Tree. We'll re-roll here. Okay, Tyler is elemental damage, so it's not going to be tripled, but it is a good way to actually kill stuff, so I'm going to take that. Plastic Explosive, although we do have explosions and the chef explosions do benefit from Plastic Explosive, I just don't think we can afford to buy something like that. Yeah, I think the cyber ball isn't getting tripled properly. I'm just looking at the damage numbers. I'm not seeing any. I'm seeing a lot of 13s pop up on the cyber ball. And if it was dealing extra damage, then you would expect to see some 39s. So I don't know if anybody is seeing differently than I am. Obviously, I'm also trying to see where my character's going, so I can't just look at the numbers all the time. But you can. So let me know if you think Cyberball is working correctly. So we don't yet have the defensive stats to run through the middle of the map here. I will take some move speed. I definitely need that. And then we'll take a Tyler. Finn is probably not worth picking up. The lifesteal would be good, but I just don't think I can afford to spend 130 on it. I do need more max HP, but Little Muscly Dude and Defective Steroids are both kind of inefficient ways of getting that. I'll buy the Lure just for the HP regen. We almost certainly will not kill the loot aliens, but if we do get a loot alien kill, then so much the better. And then I'm going to pull all these enemies over to the Tyler and hope that it can deal enough damage to help us clear them. Trying to keep these trees on fire. A lumberjack shirt would still be an amazing find for us. Pocket Factory, of course, would still be the best item we could find here. Oh, taking that second hit was really bad. These anglerfish are just putting so much pressure on me. Yeah, I think on Crash Zone, this is even more difficult, though, because getting to the point where the... we were close there. Getting to the point where the rib cages wouldn't kill you would be very difficult. Okay, nice. We got a consumable drop. That got me some extra enemy kills, so I managed to pick up 48 materials here, so I guess one more than we've done in some previous runs. Let's roll. Roll again. We're still looking for harvesting. We missed. I'll take 5 luck here. Gonna roll again. Okay, sharp bullet. That's what we need. And turret. Do I even buy the turret? I think I'm just buying the turret now. I think a turret helps more than another wand in these early waves. So I'm just gonna buy the turret, and then we'll buy another wand, and then we'll go to the next wave here. Okay, so having a turret and a sharp bullet, that's going to give me more clear speed overall. And you can see the turret does do 30 damage. We're going to play around it so it can help me clear these enemies. I think I can get the tree kill here without giving up too much. If I run back and set it on fire again, it should pick out. And, okay, we'll take 5 harvesting. I don't have another wand. I could just buy the sharp bullet now, but I think I still just want to roll for more wands at this point. Nice. Another decent spawn for my turret also, where it's gonna potentially be able to attack things. Run up here and set that tree on fire once, and then we'll do another loop and set it on fire again so it can actually burn out. Then I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh, no, okay, I need to not die, though, because we have a good start, and if I die just by walking into a bunch of enemies, that'll be very sad. Here, I'm going to take 2 regen. I could roll for harvesting, but I really want to be able to buy the sharp bullet and the bag this wave, and then also roll for other stats. Do I want the little frog? Pickup radius is pretty good, harvesting is good, so I think I will buy that, and then... Peaceful Bee, I will lock as well. Coffee will lock as well. I guess we're going with 3 weapons. not what I would have expected at this point, but honestly, 3 wands is not that much worse than 6 wands. The knockback is the main thing that we're missing. I need to play around the turret so that it's mostly attacking burning enemies, because it's very important that it gets its triple damage and doesn't waste too many attacks. Yeah, I'll take 6 max HP here. I'll take the little frog, and then I'm going to roll. We'll lock a wand. Campfire is worth locking. It's only half an elemental damage, but at least it gives me some regeneration as well. That buffed mantis shrimp is going to be kind of painful to deal with. Okay, we got the tree kill, and it dropped a crate. That's massive, because, of course, we have bags, so that's going to be a lot of extra money for us. Then I'm, again, pulling the enemies over our turret, so it can continue to fire. I'm not going for that tree on the other side of the map, because I'd be giving up a lot of kills from my turret if I pulled all the enemies over there, and it just takes a long time. We'll take a Peaceful Bee. Do I want more harvesting or more regen? I think I can take 8 more harvesting. We'll buy the wand, Peaceful Bee, coffee, and roll. Ugly Tooth I will want for going against the elites, and I'm going to roll and buy a wand here. This one turret has put this run on its back alongside the sharp bullet, which is the other really important component. Again, gonna try to keep everything burning, but also keep the tree burning at the same time. Okay, I'm always gonna take some hits that... I thought I could path through that. Wow, that was bad play. Just very poor movement there. My movement has also not been great during this run. Okay, that time I managed to get it, so we killed the tree. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get all the enemies killed, but let's roll once, roll again. We'll take 5 harvesting. We'll take the wand. Let's roll. We'll lock the sharp bullet. Okay. We'll roll again, lock a fertilizer, and I'll roll one more time to try to lock a wand. I think I'm going to save my money, though, because I'm just going to buy the fertilizer next wave anyways. So we don't need to lock a weapon as much, because we'll only be able to buy one weapon next shop anyways. Yeah, I will say the fact that we missed so many times on wands last wave last run did make things a little bit harder. Here, I should have enough money to buy the fertilizer and a wand, but I'm not sure that I will if I reroll a bunch, so I'm just going to take 2 regen, which we need anyways. And I'm going to roll and roll looking for wands. We did find one. I'll roll again. I could have rolled for harvesting there. Cute monkey, we are simply not going to drop enough materials to make use of it. We are finding a lot of sharp bullets, but not a lot of wands. It's kind of a funny scenario where we're getting lucky in some ways in terms of our shops, but pretty unlucky in other ways in terms of our shops. Which is, obviously, that's how luck works. This was a really nice wave for us. We were able to pick up a lot of consumables off the ground, so we actually made good money this wave, which has been a real problem. Wave 3 has been kind of a disaster for us overall. We'll take the sharp bullet. We'll re-roll here. Do I want the... Oh, well, spicy sauce. This is a way to deal non-elemental damage, and it works with our chef explosions. So we're definitely taking that. Do I want the scar? I think I'll take the wand, I'll lock the scar, and I'll roll here. And go to the next wave. I could re-roll again, but I really want to be able to buy both of those items next wave. So spicy sauce is a way that we can... That's kind of a win condition for us, is ways to actually get enemy kills. Especially if I get a second one. And I do think outside of finding an early pocket factory, that's one of our better ways to generate a win condition. I'll take 5 harvesting here, and then I could take 2 elemental damage. So with 6 wands, we have 1.25. So if I get 3 elemental damage overall, that boosts my damage output. I think I'm just going to take the attack speed, though, and then we'll buy Spicy Sauce and Scar. I can't really afford to buy Weird Ghost, I don't think. And I'm going to roll a couple times because I really want to find another wand, which we didn't. Duct Tape, probably worth buying regardless. If we get a Scared Sausage and a Snake in the same run, then that would be really good. So let's try to keep the tree on fire. That helped us clear a bunch of enemies. Try to burn that tree down as well, pull everything onto it, and then... Unfortunately, we didn't get the Spicy Sauce proc there. If I had, then it would have killed most of those enemies, I think. Just gonna take an armor, and we'll buy a landmines and duct tape. I have 4 regen, which is not enough for the Weird Ghost for this run, unfortunately. We'll lock the mushroom, and I'll roll. Wow, we're not finding any wands. Definitely stuff that I could be optimizing more in these runs, of course. With these difficult runs, you're always learning the requirements and challenges as you go along as well. Alright, there we go. So we were able to use our landmines to get some enemy kills on this wave. Need to be a little bit careful with my positioning here. Because getting a defensive stat to keep ourselves alive when our damage is this poor is very difficult. So I had to just hide in the corner there and kind of hope for the best. I'll take 2 armor here. We'll buy the mushroom. We'll reroll. Finally get another wand. I'll reroll again. Reroll again. And none of these do anything, right? I guess I'll buy the wand and lock the coupon. Honestly, I'm not even sure if coupon is good on this character because we're making so little money. It's going to take a long time to pay off, but I do think that we have to play as though we're going to eventually start getting real income. Okay, so let's loop back around here. We'll take a hit, and then we'll use the explosion to clear a bunch of those. Then we'll loop back around, we'll use the explosion, and there we go. So getting those 3 explosions in a row was really nice because that let us actually get some enemy kills on Wave 7, which has been always just a consistent disaster for this character. Although we're still just not making that much money, even though we did get all those procs. Yeah, 137. That's actually less than we've been making in some previous versions of this run, because my harvesting is a lot lower. I guess I'll take 8% damage, get that back positive. Knot is kind of interesting. We need HP, and honestly, upgrading our wands is just not that important, so I think I will buy the knot here. I will... Yeah, we'll go ahead and get another level 2 wand, and then we'll roll. Barnacle... The extra stats from Barnacle are pretty good over time. Can we afford to buy that? I think we can. I think the knot will give us enough of a cushion that we'll be able to buy the Barnacle, and then we'll buy a landmines here. Cauldron should be pretty good as well. We're getting the wrong engineering items. We're getting all landmines, which are not great. But, you know, it could be worse. So I'm trying to pull all these enemies over our explosions to just consistently keep DPSing them down. You can see there we got the 39 damage landmine proc, which is pretty good. Landmine is fairly low damage, but when it's tripled, it does kill stuff sometimes. Don't think I'm going to be able to get that. Yeah, I wasn't going to be able to get that consumable there. I'll take the cute monkey. That's some good healing. I will reroll here, or do I just take 10 attack speed? I think I'll just take 10 attack speed. And then, oh no, I'm short of being able to buy the knot or the barnacle, but we can buy snake and cauldron, and then we'll save our money. Snake is going to be really nice. That's a lot of extra damage. And it's going to make our landmines a lot better as well, because everything will be on fire now. Oh, for a second there, I lost track of the hatcher, and for a second there I thought we had actually killed one, which would have been a miracle for this character. Trying to wait until enemies are on top of me to pick up some of those consumables, but also I can't afford to take too many hits while trying to finesse the enemy movement, because we don't have any defensive stats to speak of. Ooh, okay, lived just barely. Left 100 materials on the ground. I mean, I guess I'll take the Lost Duck. We'll take the Shady Potion as well. And then I'm going to take 4 regen because I need to fix my regen. This is +1 burning damage. I think that is worth taking. And then we'll take the Knot because I need some max HP. And we'll buy the Barnacle as well. Lock a Lemonade. Do a reroll here. And we'll buy a Blood Leech also because I need more healing. %15 extra damage matters a lot, and the 15 HP is one of the most efficient ways we could have gotten some extra max HP. So Knot is really good for us, especially because I don't really care about upgrading my weapons. It's expensive and difficult. Okay, let's pull them over the landmine for some extra damage here. I'm gonna run through the middle here and pick up some of those doubled materials so that we're not carrying over so many wave to wave. That landmine spawned in a good spot for us and cleared out a bunch of enemies, which is really nice of it. We're going to take 2 hits there, and almost certainly taking another hit around this other direction. Actually managed not to. Unfortunately, that enemy cleared the landmine for the following crowd. Otherwise, I would have actually gotten a lot more kills and a lot more money that wave. Okay, 5 regen. That's the type of thing that we need to get. Fried rice, that's also the type of thing that we need to get. Do I want the mouse? I probably do. 5 lifesteal is pretty good, and then we'll take the lemonade and then roll. I'm going to take the boxing glove. I think that the extra knockback on our wands actually matters a lot. And do I want a gentle alien? I think so, mostly for the HP at this point. So with fried rice, we have a lot of healing. No, a gobbler. No. It's a healer wave too, so there's just no chance we can kill it again. And this wave is always going to be terrible for us because, as I mentioned, it's a healer wave. So the enemies are just always going to have full health, and since our damage is all dealt slowly over time, we just don't have a method of killing them. I was hoping to get like 2 to 3 spicy sauce explosions at once there, but we didn't, and that meant that I actually put myself in kind of an awkward spot where I was down a lot of health, and then I wasn't able to pick up any materials, but the Gobbler was stealing them all anyways. Here I'm just going to take 2 armor. Can't buy this wand. I could buy the toolbox. We currently have just double landmine for our engineering items. If I buy the toolbox, I can't buy blood leech. I think I'm going to buy the blood leech, and I'm going to pass on the gentle alien for the horde wave. We'll buy the coupon, I guess, and then roll again, and then go to the horde wave. I do want the gentle alien, but The horde wave, of course, is going to be kind of risky for this character already, so we will avoid putting more enemies on the field for this wave specifically. At least we didn't get a horde wave with a healer wave. If we'd gotten a wave 11 horde, I think that would be kind of unwinnable. Okay, I have to take a lot of hits here and hope for consumable spawns. I'm going to try to loop back around. Because my damage output is just so low. Yeah, so the horde wave was always going to be kind of unwinnable there. If I had had a little more clear speed, then maybe we could have made it work. But unfortunately, I think that the chef with wand just requires so many things to go right. Wave 12 is the furthest that we made it. I probably could have made it further. But, I mean, this run, we got so many good things. We got fried rice, we got the knot, which helped a lot. We had good regen and good lifesteal and everything. We got a very early sharp bullet. We got a snake as well. And it still just wasn't enough. So I think you just need... I think it's winnable. You just need everything to go right. And if you reroll often enough, that'll happen. But unfortunately, that just is going to require a lot of patience and more patience than I have. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed this attempt at the Chef Wand Challenge. Give it a go. You know, maybe there's something that I'm missing that makes it much easier if you do it differently than I did. And let me know how it goes for you. But I think mostly what you need to do is just roll Sharp Bullet and Pocket Factory really early and then rely on those. And if you do that, you'll be okay. Yeah, actually our spicy sauce did almost nothing this run, so that's unfortunate. I guess we needed explosion size to make that better. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.